Yo, right back. Told y'all, right back. Your first time here, like, share, subscribe, comment. This gonna be, I ain't really into this, but on this one, I gotta make a special tribute. I don't know you want to call it a tribute, but I got time today, right? Y'all know I ain't really into that. I don't really be blasting people all crazy. But when you earned that work, you earned that work, right? So y'all remember about back in February, March, I probably was one of the first people, especially in our space, to talk about the Brittney Griner situation, right? I talked about it when I found out Lisa Leslie and and other players in the WNBA, prominent figures around the WNBA. I don't know if that extended to the NBA. I can't remember or not, but I know it's the WNBA specifically. They pretty much was told don't talk about the Brittney Griner situation, right? I thought that was crazy. So I talked about it, right? And I told y'all then it was a ploy. I told y'all then, but I went a little deeper. I told how I believe the NBA and all of them was at fault, whatever the case may be. I never once took the onus off of Brittney Griner because she definitely played a role in that whole situation, right? Definitely. We're not going to never let people dodge accountability, right? But with your man Jason Whitlock, he has a podcast outside of the terrible sports analysis he be doing, right? He's one of the reasons why I stopped watching ESPN, or stopped watching them shows. He's one of the reasons. Definitely one of the reasons, right? I ain't gonna hold you. So my thing is this: if you're not even respected, I mean, talking about why ESPN or whoever still cut you checks and still, I guess maybe because of the views it be so you go against so far against the grain and cause so much drama with the stuff you say. I guess you need that. I guess you the yang, right? You need that, right? But this ain't sports. Sports is way more subjective. Sports is way more opinionated. When you start getting into the matters of the political theater and people real life, champ, you need to stand down. You need to stand down. You need to stand down. Just stand down. This is not your lane. You don't know what you're talking about. The man you brought on there to co-sign you and turn you into an even bigger crash dummy. You need to pull that video down, bro. You need to pull that video down. I'm not going to hold you. You need to pull that video down. Because clearly there are circumstances surrounding the Brittney Griner situation that you would never understand. You will never understand. Forget overstand, but you won't even get the baseline of understanding. Right? Those situations, only thing that mirror with those situations is the fact that U.S. citizens and they're being held captive in Russia. That's really where the similarities stop at. And I bet you don't understand. That's where the similarities basically stop at, right? Like facts, right? Because the names you reference, you decide to reference names that if you're going to operate in a space and you're going to give so many people the ability to listen to this crap, only thing you did was cause further problem. You're causing hate and discontent within those families of those people involved, right? You provide misinformation, right? I know y'all don't like when I blast people, but you got to understand the reason why I do it, and I know I'll be trying to abstain from it, but when you be having some of these platforms that these people have, man, they be having over 100, 200, 300,000 followers, man. You got more than enough people that's going to turn into this and take this as the law. Because the average person is not going to go do their own due diligence. They're going to say, oh, I thought it was more than that. Oh, you know what I'm saying? And they think they're getting that more from you. And they only get from you is half information, misinformation. You understand? So this is the reason why I have to sometimes entertain these fools, man. I got to check these fools, man. Listen, Brittney Griner is at fault for the simple fact of she has been, I believe in my heart, she had been trying, I believe fully, when she left those airports in Russia, whenever the season ended, she had been taking cartridges or whatever in her bag. It was not an issue, right? She's 7'12", African-American woman, got dreadlocks, locks or whatever she got, locks, not dreadlocks, locks, pardon me. There's a difference, but she got locks, right? Obviously, she over there for some kind of athletics. They probably don't watch the play. They know exactly who she is, right? And she bring a dough to the local economy because they coming out and she entertaining folks, right? So they ain't the first time they probably saw on the joint that she had imagery of something she might have not supposed to have and investigate further. Brittney Griner's fault was, one, you got to understand the terrain of where you're at. You got to understand the law of the land. You got to understand variable circumstances is ever evolving. You got to stay abreast and adapt to when it changes. You understand? One, I wouldn't have been playing with Russia like that anyway. I wouldn't have been playing in Russia. But I understand, when you go somewhere, they quadruple your salary, you got to get it how you live it. I ain't tripping on that. I understand that part, right? I'm trying to bring my energy down. This dude got me mad, right? But not irritated. I'm not mad. I'm just irritated. But you still got to know that as an American in Russia, even when there's no open conflict or at odds, they're always at odds. They're always at odds. They're always going to be at odds to the end of this planet until as we know it, right? So you got to walk a tight line. You got to be on your best behavior, especially when you're there, right? Anybody that has crossed that pond enough knows no matter where you at, especially when you're in athletics, you're in the military, government agency, you're an ambassador of the United States of America, you got to carry yourself in a certain way. Point blank, period. Right? That's overstood. Like I said, her problem was she got too comfortable. Right? I'm pretty sure the State Department contacted every American citizen and told them what was coming, what was on the horizon. I advise y'all to bounce because we don't know what's going to happen. Whether or not they're going to shut the airports down, they're going to shut down movement. Like, so it's best before that happens to get up out of there. I'm pretty sure that's how it went down because that's normally how it goes down, right? Jason Whitlock and your man, catch up, right? Catch up, right? I do believe, like I said, she been doing stuff like this with taking those cartridges, THC, whatever the case may be. I do believe that. I'm not giving her no pass on that. That part was on her, right? Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure the State Department came to him, told him what was up, and pretty much to bounce, right? It was, and guess what happens on the other side? The Russian Airport Authority, I'm not sure what they call it. I'm pretty sure they're not called TSA, right? They're pretty much going to be told, yo, there's going to be a mass exodus of United States citizens leaving Russia. Scrutinize them extra hard. We see that American passport, get them a little bit of extra scrutiny. Anything we can detain them for or be difficult about, we going to do that. That's the way it goes. That's called political theater. Catch up. Right? That's how that go. On the other side, yo, there's going to be a mass exodus. Whatever we can harass them on, we're going to harass them. Whatever we can detain them on, the bigger the store, the better. Why? Because what we about to do, we going to need some leverage. She fell victim to a game that she helped facilitate. That's no doubt about that. Nobody's giving passes on that part. But for you to sit back and say that she wasn't caught up in political theater, you out your mind. Because you believe that's the first time she went through that airport checkpoint with a THC cartridge that they discovered, you're bugging if you believe that's the first time. No, it's only important now because of what's going on. I know this is above your head. This is above your senses, right? I already know that. Don't worry about it. You got some people out here that read and got an understanding of that way of life or how that side works. Clearly you don't, right? So you want to bring up, right? So that's such circumstances, right? Especially when America started, they started going after the oligarchs. They started putting bans and stuff on export and imports or whatever. They start messing up their money pretty much, disrupting their economy, the economical system, right? That's how you attack a country like Russia. Because ain't nobody running in Russia. Let's get over that. There's not going to be like Iraq or what's the other place we went in? Libya. Right? Nah, it's not like that. We're not doing that to Russia. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. You got to attack them. You got to have different kind of wars. You got to attack their financial infrastructure. That's the only way you're going to go about that. Right? They're going to do a little bit of cyber warfare back and forth, whatever the case may be. Right? But she got caught up in a game that she allowed herself to be caught up in. Point blank, period. You understand? Like I said, when America started giving, they started doing that. They started restrictions and they started the tariffs and all that. When they started going after the oligarchs, going after their property, messing with their finances, right? Yeah, when they started giving funds and weaponry to Ukraine. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. I got a lot of birds. I don't know, they having like a gang war. But so when they started funding Ukraine, weapons, money, supplies, what have you, right? So all this is a part of that. If you can't connect the dots on that, now the people they already had, they got sucked up into that as well. Whether you want to realize that or not, especially when it's on CNN, it's making headlines. Yeah. They wasn't initially as important as Brittney Griner because Brittney Griner's stature is bigger. Nobody know who these dudes is if you don't Google them on average. If you're if you're an athletic sports type head, you're gonna understand who Brittney Griner is, even if you don't watch the WNBA, right? Average, just average. I ain't talking to people that's really all into. I'm talking about the average person, right? So you brought up two names. You brought up Trevor Reed, right? Trevor Reed probably had the circumstances most closely to Brittney Griner, right? So with Trevor Reed, he went to Russia with a bunch of his friends. He went out partying. He got bent. He got drunk, right? His friends didn't want to mess up their night, right? They didn't want their night to end because he got too drunk, right? So they called the police thinking he gonna go to a drunk tank, right? His friends failed him in that part. He failed himself by letting himself get drunk, but then his friends failed him. Period. His friends failed him. Because their thing was they wanted him to go be taken care of in their mind by police, right? Same thing black people face, right? Same thing black people face, right? Black people face this all the time and get killed though. We get killed. How many times have somebody called the police for their folks just to assist them, to aid them, and they wind up getting murdered, right? This same thing happened to this white boy, except for he didn't die. He's been incarcerated ever since. That's what the difference is. You figure deal me? Like, that's what the difference is in this circumstance, right? So with son, pardon me, let me move locations real quick. So with son, right? So the Trevor Reed guy, trying to go somewhere. I'm trying to get somewhere where it's halfway, like it's not as loud with the birds and all that. Pardon me. I'm trying to do this for y'all though. Pardon me though. Right? Like I said, pardon me. My apologies. Emphatic apologies. Right? So the thing, like I said, with the Trevor Reed kid, right? He was over there with his friends. I want to say it was like a bachelor party or some kind of party or whatever the case may be, right? He got drunk. His friends didn't want their night to end. They called the police, thinking the police gonna come take him to a drunk tank, right? So then they came back. They couldn't get a hold of him, whatever the case may be. When they finally got a hold of him, he was beat up. The police say he attacked them, right? So at that point, not only does y'all bounce, but y'all ain't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. His friends, he failed himself first by allowing himself to get in that condition in a foreign place. Or I don't even do that here, right? But then the people you was with failed you, right? That's why his circumstances is the most close to Brittney Griner, but that ain't even the same. Different circumstances, right? At that point, it's his word against their word, right? He's saying he never did nothing, whatever, but it might have been to the point he could have done it. He was so drunk, he don't remember, right? But at that point, you at the mercy of them because you don't even remember what happened because you was that twisted. And nobody stayed with you to make sure further that you was going to be straight. So you need better homies, man. Now, he definitely should be free. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, we want to talk about, let's talk about so-and-so. Let's talk about so-and-so. Let's make sure we talk about something that makes sense. Make it make sense, right? Now, you got another cat, right? You got another dude, right? His name Paul Whelan. Now, this shit's totally different. The circumstances with Paul Whelan is so different, I wouldn't even have brought it up, right? But both of these guys, I forgot to mention, both these guys, right? Another thing that make a difference. Trevor Reed and Paul Whelan both served in the United States Marine Corps, right? To me, this is what makes us totally different than Brittney Griner, because we already understand when you go overseas, when you cross that pond, there's certain dangers that you have to be aware of. One, you got to be mainly careful how you govern yourself. You understand? Like, you get that formal education and formal training and all that, right? Let's talk about that. Like, I want to make sure I mention that, right? So the kid Paul Whelan, not the kid, the man Paul Whelan, right? He's some kind of security, director of security for some company, right? He goes to Russia for a bachelor party or something like that, right? He been going back and forth from Russia forever though, right? This something he regularly did. He had a lot of contacts in Russia. He knew people in Russia. He's on some Russian podcast, whatever it is they talk about. You understand? Which I wouldn't even have done that. You know what I'm saying? You definitely gotta be careful on that, because this ain't America where you give a free, open opinion and be straight. Somewhat, anyway. Right? They murder you over there for that. Facts. Right? So, he meet some Russian KFB member, or what used to be the you know what I'm talking about. Drawing a blank. I got a lot of bird noises distracting me. But the KFB or something like that, some Russian government agency, right? He meets a contact, somebody he knows. The person he knows gives him a jump drive full of a classified company with classified contacts. I'm gonna say that again. The person he meets is a KFB agent that gives him a flash drive that pertain a classified company with classified contacts. 1 + 1. If the company is classified, that means the contacts and all the information within that company is classified, right? He meet him somewhere, right? He dips off from his bunch that he came over there with. He's like, no, I'm gonna take the day. I'm gonna do my own thing, right? He meet his homie, who he had a relationship with, right? He give him a flash drive or a bunch of stuff that he shouldn't have had in his possession, right? He goes back to the party. He meets up with the people he came back with, and he's bragging to them about what somebody just gave him, right? The dude that gave it to him walks in the hotel, wherever he at, walks in on some, hey, yo, yeah, that's him I gave it to right there. They book him, Dano. They book him for espionage. Right? For what purpose would you have this data and this information? In Russia, like you're not connecting the dots here? Like, come on, man. That's what I'm saying. These circumstances are not the same. Yeah, he's held for espionage, because that's espionage. What are you talking about? Yeah, you're being held in Russian prison for espionage, because that's exactly what that was. Like, come on, man. Let's stop the foolishness, man. Then the last part I want to touch on. The dude, the Asian guy, had the audacity to say, this is what I'm even mad about Jason Whitlock for, right? Irritated, not mad, I'm irritated, right? The Asian guy, I don't know what his name is, I would say his name. I tried to find his name, I couldn't find his name, because I wanted to call him by name, I didn't want to say the Asian guy, right? But the other guy that he had on his podcast on the screen said something about, And we should forget about Brittney Griner because she goes against America. She don't agree with American views and policies. That was the most un-American thing you could have said, because the last time I checked, I thought that that's what this country was built on, different viewpoints about public policy that affect the masses. I thought that's what you was entitled to do. Here, and for Jason Whitlock to not check dude about that, it was appalling. It was more appalling than even creating a title talk about truth bomb about Brittney Griner. Take that down, because you ain't telling the truth about nothing. And for that guy to say, oh, her views, she's so un-American because of her views. That statement you just said was un-American. You realize that? I thought that's what you had the right and freedom to do here, was to have a different opinion with lawmakers about policies that they made. But she wrote this long letter saying to Joe Biden, these was the reason why I gave you my vote. And I'm not seeing my vote come to fruition because I don't think you standing on what I thought you was. Now I'm going to fault Brittney Griner once again for that, because that part is on you. Joe Biden is who he always been. Y'all got bamboozled with the Obama affiliation, which I was bamboozled on that as well, but I'm not going to get in that. That's a whole separate topic. Y'all was bamboozled for Joe vote, right? Because that had y'all so far left on Trump, which partly was his fault as well, because if he just would have kept his mouth shut, he would be elected right now. He would have been serving a second term in office, right? But Joe Biden has never been for the African American population. Black and brown people, Joe Biden has never been for. That's a whole separate topic as well. So you bamboozled yourself on that. But for Jason Whitlock to be a black man in this country, to allow somebody to make that statement to an African American female, I think it's appalling. When it's baseless, it don't have no merit to stand on, because she has a difference of opinion about these policies that y'all have passed that does nothing for the African American population. It don't do nothing for black and brown people. Nothing. Gun legislation does nothing for black and brown people. Roe versus Wade does nothing for black and brown people. Get out the matrix, unplug, unhook, and learn you something. So no, I can't agree with that. I thought that was the most appalling part of it. And I can't believe he stood by and just listened to that. It ain't checked nothing. Yeah, I was offended, bro. Facts. I was offended about that. I had already personally canceled you because you don't know what you be talking about when it comes to matter of sports. You don't know what you talking about. You be up there talking like you play some kind of athletics. You ain't play nothing. You ain't even play ping pong. No. You got all this criticism. You got all this stuff to say. You got all this vile hatred. And you ain't never played nothing, man. Yeah. I don't like you. I don't like Stephen A. It's a bunch of y'all I don't like. It's a bunch of y'all I don't like. But at least Stephen A. halfway know what he's talking about when it comes to basketball. Shannon knows what he halfway talking about when it comes to football. Max knows it definitely half of what he's talking about when it comes to boxing. You understand? But you don't know nothing about none of that. And you be up there with the biggest mouth, man. But this right here, you put your foot in your behind. You need to take that video down. You out of pocket. You don't know what you're talking about. You spreading misinformation, wrong information, and you're causing hate and discontent and confusion with those parties directly involved and concerned, meaning the loved ones of those people incarcerated. If you can't see through that, I don't know what to tell you. I'm out of here on you, though. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Share. Let's talk about it, man. Let's get into it. Told you I was gonna be right back. I'm right back. I couldn't take Jason Whitlock on the corner. I had to take him to the backyard. But we out.